Welcome to the Master Tech Lou channel. I am Lou, and today we're going to talk about ratchets. How to use them and how many do you need? Ratchets are very simple in operation, but there's a ton of options that are out there. And one of the things I see that's wrong not wrong, one of the things I see that people struggle with is how many do I need? Which ones are the best ones to buy? There's so many options that are out there. I can't, nor will I tell you what you should buy. What you're going to find is that you're going to find certain ones that are comfortable to use. They're the perfect size. I've got mini 1/4-inch ones up to long 1/4-inch ones. Typical sizes for cars are 1/4-inch head, 3/8 head, and 1/2-inch head. So the difference would be, there's the 1/4-inch size there. Here's the 3/8 size, okay? And then let's go to the 1/2-inch guy. And there's the 1/2-inch guy. Now you can get 3/4-inch ratchets, 1-inch ratchets. All depends on what industry you're working in. If you want to see how many ratchets I use, let's go. Now, I built up a collection of ratchets over time because you find that depending on how many jobs you do and what they're for, you're going to run into all different types and sizes that you're going to need. All right, so I'm going to lay out all of my 1/4-inch ones. Then I'll explain to you how I even came about to get some of these. Now, this one is actually a small 1/4-inch style ratchet, but it's got a 3/8 head, which is great for tight spots when you're using bigger bolts. But I'm going to leave this one up. We've got flex head. We've got non-flex head. We've got locking flex head, which I always prefer to get these because when you really want a locking one, something like this is hard to manage if it flexes out of the way. So I always prefer locking ones. I've got Craftsman. I've got Great Neck. Don't ask me why. More Great Neck. And then we even have what's called drivers. Screwdrivers for bits. Angled ones. All right, so some of my favorite are the Matco 88 tooth. And the reason they're my favorite is when you're trying to loosen a bolt, there's a nice fine click. It doesn't have to move much for it to even bite. All right, some of the problems you see with a ratchet like this is if you're trying to get a super fine bolt out, it's too clunky. It takes too long for it to bite the next tooth. This head is hard to manage in certain spots. It doesn't fit. Now, if you're doing stuff at home, assembling furniture, maybe you do light auto mechanics, any ratchet is really going to work for you. To me, I've been working on cars so long that I'll find these for inside the dashboard. Different lengths do work for reaching certain bolts. This one here would be to break something loose. Problem you run into when you're using different kinds of ratchets is I can only get so much torque on a bolt with this one, so I may use this one to snug up certain bolts. But if I go to use this guy, it'll torque it even more because of the leverage, and it'll break the bolt. So when people ask me, how many ratchets do I need? The answer is, you need as many ratchets as you need. If I were to venture and advise on what to buy, I play instruments, I play guitar. So when I try to learn guitar, I'm like, I don't know guitar very well, so I can't justify buying a $1,000 guitar. So I bought an expensive guitar, a cheap guitar. And what happened was the strings wouldn't stay in tune, and I didn't know it because I didn't know about guitars. So it took me longer to learn, and it was harder to play because it was a junk guitar. I feel the same thing with ratchets. So back to the guitar. If I had bought a quality guitar, it'd have been easier for me to learn guitar, and it would have sounded right, and it would have helped me on my way further. If you're trying to do a job or many jobs and you buy cheap, any ratchets from part stores or discount lots or used or damaged stuff, it's going to be harder to do the job than it would be if you bought a more quality ratchet. Now, what makes a quality ratchet? Your experience. I have bought snap-on ratchets that I do not like whatsoever. I've bought Mac Tools ratchets that are too big for the spaces you need to fit them in. So me personally, I love the Matco, and this isn't sponsored by anybody. I love the Matco 88 tooth. They're just such a fine click. And what I mean is, like, if you go to loosen a bolt, there's not a lot of tension in here. So if the bolt is super loose, it doesn't just keep going back and forth with the ratchet. You don't have to hold the bolt at the same time you loosen. That's some of the problems you get with the tighter head, tighter ratchet. But I do love, I got the Matco 88 tooth 1/4 inch. I got the Matco 88 tooth 3/8 locking flex head. And I have the Matco 88 tooth 1/2 inch locking flex head. Again, I prefer locking flex heads. The reason I'm making a ratchet video is because I left the dealer for a long period of time. I went back to the dealer, and some of the guys I were working with, they only had a set of tools. They had just started, and they had a set of tools, one set, which meant one ratchet. You kind of spent more time looking for the right tool to use to do basic repairs than you did actually doing the repair. Because if you try to just do the repair, it would take forever. So I'm like, you can't, you need to buy more as you need them. So I have a rule of 3 when it comes to tools and equipment. If you have to borrow it 3 times, buy one. You're gonna use it in the future. If you're using stuff and you have to move it 3 times out of the way, find a different location for it. If you have to find it 3 times in a row, make a different location for it, right? So all of my tools are organized, and they're all in the drawers that I know them to be in. So using a ratchet is very simple. Let me go back to that. Heads typically have a spring-loaded ball on them. You'll find the right drive. These are called the drive. So you got 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1 inch, which are for, we'll say, like heavy-duty semi-trucks and stuff. And every socket is going to have a square that's going to fit the head. They just snap on, okay? Which, snap-on tools, way to go with the name. And then they each have different sizes on the other side of the socket. So using a ratchet simple, one way is going to allow it to free spin and then tighten. And then if you click it the other way, it's going to free spin the opposite way and tighten the opposite way, or loosen, whatever it can be. It's not, again, the thread is not always right hand where clockwise is tightened. There's few instances where a thread is going to be counterclockwise or left hand thread. It's more so with like any item that's going to spin that way, like a fan clutch or maybe an alternator or something like that, it's going to be reverse thread. I believe even some 70s cars, the lug nuts were reverse thread on one side than they were the other side. And if you didn't know that, whew, you were snapping threads. So let me just show you inside my toolbox. So again, we got all these ratchets here. Now let me venture into this realm here. So all of my 3/8 I have. I got my Matco 88. I got a Craftsman. I got a Carlisle, which I think came from like a Napa or something. We got breaker bars. We got another Matco. I got a Craftsman. This is a nice one because it's angled, right? The problem is the head doesn't lock. So when I'm trying to do spark plugs or something, it'll pop around and it makes it harder to work with. I got a Craftsman straight one. I don't mind the Craftsman ones, but I do prefer Matco. Or even gear wrench. Man, gear wrench stepped up their game. I have a gear wrench ratchet here somewhere. It's hiding around here somewhere. But I would recommend, if I had to recommend ratchets, I'd say go with Matco. You don't have to buy them off the tool truck. You can find them on eBay or Amazon for cheap. Sometimes people sell them used and you get a great discount on them. Typically, I would buy mine used and then I would warranty them off the tool truck if there was a problem, because they're a lifetime warranty. So gear wrench is a great brand. Craftsman's a pretty good brand. To me, that's more of like home use. If you're going to do it professionally, I've used Craftsman wrenches for years, but once I got into like Matco, I love the Matco brand. Snap-on, they're not bad, but personally, I don't find the value in the amount of money they want you to pay for the Snap-on wrenches, so or ratchets, we'll say. Again, this is all personal preference. You can find, you know, whatever you like, but a lot of brands are stepping up the game. Icon from Harbor Freight, those look like pretty good ratchets. Maybe I'll buy some in the future and check them out for myself. I mean, I can't justify buying any more ratchets. I got everything I need. I got, you know, all the different sizes. So, all right. So actually, what I had done was I went to Harbor Freight and I bought an Icon ratchet. Comes in a fancy case. Looks nice. The price is kind of weird. It's $33 for this ratchet. It's $37 for the 3/8, and it's $40 for the 1/2 inch. So as far as money-wise, they're great prices. I just don't know why you would charge $30 for a 1/4 inch if the 1/2 inch is only $44. Normally, ratchets are considerably different in prices depending on the size, so that's great for the consumer. I'm going to open this up here if I can get out of the box. As far as the packaging goes, it looks nice. Comes with a rag to keep it clean, right? Little carrying case, which you probably could use in your toolbox if you want. You know, keep it nice in its spot. It looks pretty good. Feels pretty good. Except it feels what I would call choppy. It's got a lot of tension in the head to where if you did break a bolt loose or a nut, there's not a lot of free movement. Like, you got to put some force to it to get it to turn, which means if you break something loose and you're not in a good spot to hold it, this ain't going to do anything but move it back and forth. You're not really going to be able to loosen it up. You'd have to hold it to loosen it up. I don't know if you can hear the sound. This has 90 teeth to it, so it should have a pretty good swing, or a minimal swing, which is pretty good. However, it just doesn't feel all right. I'm not sure I like it. It's got a head like a snap-on ratchet. It's pretty comparable to a snap-on ratchet as far as size. I don't know, it just feels, I'm sure it'll work, but I don't think it would work in tight quarters when you can't hold what's going to spin. Also, what I have at the house is I got a gear wrench set, the 90 teeth gear wrench. And this one sounds a lot better. It clicks a lot easier, which means if I did break something loose, it wouldn't take a lot of tension for it to move to the next cog or next tooth, next gear, whichever you want to call it. And then judging by the size of it, the size of the head, gear wrench is actually a little bit thinner. Not by much, but that little bit does matter when you're working on a car. So I don't know, as far as the release thing too, this is big and clunky. This reminds me of like an AutoZone style Duralast ratchet with that knob, or even a Craftsman, when the gear wrench is a lot bit more slim, low profile. Almost matches the size of the head right there. So that matters too when you're working on something, because if you're trying to loosen something, if you're next to something, it could knock it to rotate the other way, right? So as far as the ratchet goes, I don't know if I like it. I'm going to use it, give it a shot for a little bit. They give you a 30-day return policy, actually 90 days in Illinois. So I'll use it a bit and see how I like it. And might have to do a follow-up one to see if I'm going to keep it or not. But I thought I'd include it because I got a Harbor Freight by the house. So I ran by and picked one up so I can add it to this ratchet video. And then also I got a gear wrench, one 1/4 inch that I really, really, really like. I do like the gear wrench brand for the price. They're coming a long way. Not that they were ever bad, but they're good competitors. So yeah, just wanted to add this in the middle of my video because I figured, why not? If I talk about it, I should just go pick one up. So I did. So if you do try it yourself, post in the comments if you like it or not. It just, for me, judging by how it feels so far compared to the other ratchet and compared to my experience with cars, maybe it'll loosen up over time after it wears in. Maybe a dab of oil will help it move a little bit better. Sometimes that works. You can just dry inside, depending on how they grease it. But the gear wrench feels a lot nicer so far. And again, according to my Matco 88, or comparing to my Matco 88 tooth, I love the Matco ratchets. I really do. So I just don't know if this one's going to hold up at all. And by hold up, I mean hold up with my patience right? It may last forever and it may work, but it may be a pain to use it, which doesn't make it easy for you to do the job. So I don't know if I would recommend this. So for what it's worth, hope it helps. If I can recommend the entry level ratchet, we would say like the 8-inch long, 3/8. Then you'd have a 6-inch long, 1/4 inch. The ones that I struggle with is I have Craftsman. I got Craftsman 1/2-inch ones. So with me being a Mercedes tech, we didn't have a lot of bolts that you needed to actually use a ratchet on that were, you know, bigger sockets or whatnot. Usually a wrench would work on it. So I didn't really have to go and get better, but you can even hear this, it's clunky, right? And you can tell the quality of it when you go to use it, it's too loud, right? There's not enough teeth. So the less teeth you have, typically the stronger the ratchet is, because there's more surface area between the gears. But the more teeth you can have, the ratchet can be a little bit weaker, but you don't want to use cheater bars and pipes and everything, because you're taking the ratchet out of its normal operation. You know, if you need extra leverage, buy a bigger ratchet, you know, with a longer handle. That's going to help you out. So I would go with more like a Craftsman Professional one instead of the standard. Again, listen, that's not good. So I don't know. I hope this helps. Ratchets are what you're going to use anytime you're working on a car, right? So the one thing, if you start struggling with a ratchet, it doesn't reach the spot, or it's too long for the area, buy another ratchet. It's going to make the job that much easier. With all of the tools that I have, I can flow seamless between jobs because I got a world of extensions, a world of different ratchets, different adapters. They make adapters like this. I'll show you. A low profile adapter. So on the inside, it's 3/8, but on the outside, it's 1/2 inch. So I can take one of these, snap it right over there, and now it became a 1/2 inch ratchet, right? And it's very minimal space. It's not like you're adding an adapter, which I don't even know if I have one. I got the opposite. Oh, I do. So here's a typical adapter. I can't even loosen this because when I go to push the button, the head pops down. That's why I hate non-locking flex heads. Hate's a strong word too. So here, I'll go ahead and put this guy in there. So now I just added an inch of space, or an inch of space. So I can't get into where I need to get into it. So the low profile adapters are great, and you find them on tool trucks or specialty catalogs, Amazon. You can almost buy any tool anywhere. You don't really have to go. You don't have to go somewhere to get it. You can find it online. But I don't know if there's anything else I can touch on as far as ratchets. There's an endless world of them out there. One of the last ones I bought was this 1/4 inch guy, this long. And the only reason I got this is because there's a certain job on Mercedes twin turbo engines that's very hard to get to the bolt. So it's easier to loosen it up from way down low, and then I can get in there and use my smaller ratchet and spin it free, or spin the bolt out by hand. So sometimes the ratchet's just used to break something loose or tighten it back up, but you got to use them. It's going to come in handy. I wanted to make a video on like what's in a Master Tech's toolbox, or what's in a toolbox for a technician. The problem is it's going to change. If you work for Nissan, you need so many tools to work on those cars. If you work for Ford, you need so many tools to work on those cars. You work for Mercedes, you work for Volvo. It doesn't matter. So the one thing I could say is my 3 rule. If you got to borrow it 3 times, buy it. If you have to move your tools 3 times, find a new location. If you have to find your tools 3 times, find a new location, right? I got a rule of 3. So I hope this video helps. I may have talked way too long on ratchets. I may have talked not enough. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I can definitely find more things to talk about with these. Most of these are repairable. We'll talk about that. You get one off a tool truck and you got snap rings and stuff inside there, tool trucks will fix these when they break, all right, or warranty a new one. If you have a Craftsman one that breaks, I don't like, man, once Sears went out of business, it is so hard to get a tool warranted. It's like pulling teeth. All of my sockets are Craftsman. Like 99.99%. When I was a kid, I got a great deal on them. I bought them, and I've been lifetime warranty them ever since. But once Sears went out of business, good luck finding a place that's going to warranty the socket or have the socket you need in stock to warranty it. So if mine start breaking, I'm just going to start buying Matco sockets or Snap-on or even Icon from Harbor Freight. A lot of people that I've worked with over the years will tell you certain things are junk. They're going to break when you use them. I've used some really cheap tools in my time. And if you're using the right tool for the right job, you don't break the stuff. You break it when you're using the, like if I'm trying to loosen a super tight bolt with a 1/4 inch and I put a pipe on it, it's going to break. I would just use a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch to break it loose, right? So like certain things, like a 1/4 inch wrench really shouldn't have a 15 millimeter socket to go on it. It's too small. A 1/2 inch wrench should not have a 10 millimeter socket to go on it. It's too big. Why would you ever need a 1/2 inch ratchet to go on a 10 millimeter socket, right? Or a 10 millimeter nut or bolt? That, to me, that's, you're going to break something, right? But I don't know. Post in the comments what your favorite ones are. It'll help the viewers when they're trying to pick and choose, you know, what to do with it. But I feel like maybe I went on a tangent with this one. Sorry, but this is what I'm giving you. A little bit of my experience with this stuff. The right tool for the right job. Hey, thanks for watching. Subscribe. I'll make some more videos. That's what I'm going to do. Try to help you guys out. Take care. Appreciate all of you, and have a good day.